Hello everybody, how's everybody doing? Crimson, congratulations, your first bubbles, hello. I need to just activate something. There we go. Right. That should be just about done. There we go. So last week we were working on the panel for my towers. So what we did was we add this, we open this, if we click the upgrade, we get this sort of panel that shows up now. One thing I've done now is I've actually improved that. There's some bugs with it last week. I fixed a whole bunch of those bugs this week. And now when we click on it, it correctly updates and it doesn't sort of flash or any of those kinds of things, which I think is pretty neat. Then we can close it and that takes us back to the gun tower instead of the cannon tower. So there is one more bug that I need to fix with that, which is basically that when we do the update, we actually need to also update the child, the child underneath it, which is not this one. So that one's fine. I must say the common UI, once you get how it wants to work is actually quite good. So let's see, what do we have here? We do this, which we actually don't use anymore, so we can just remove the event on construct. We've got upgrade. That opens the upgrade menu. We've got sell, that sells it. We've got close, that's that. So we need to call update widget. Now update widget gets the tower information and sets everything. We could reduce the size of this like that. Why is there like weird shading on this? Is that a new thing? Or have I never noticed that before? Anyway. So what we need to do is essentially call that when we do the update. So what we need to do is go to the parent for that one, which is not you. So this is selected tower. It's not that. Who is your top? It's this one, isn't it? Ah, so it is this one. So we update the selected tower. Where does that get called? Ah, it's this code here. So basically this code, we check if the selected tower data is the same. If the selected tower data isn't the same, we basically do this whole thing. So my guess is what we should do is we'll do this update as well when we update the selected tower. Let me think, should we do that? Let's do this first. Let's move this whole thing over. This is actually really very big. So that we could put there. We can move that to there, so that's nice and neat. So let's think, when we create a new one, we do all of this and that kind of stuff. I think let's rebuild the widget when we update the data regardless. And that should solve that bug for us. Compile. Why are you so mad? Oh, selected tower info widget. Selected tower info widget. That one. So let's add you. Nope, nope, not like that. Like that. Compile and save. So now let's put down a gun tower. Let's put down a cannon tower. So we'll select that one. We'll click upgrade. We'll go to the gun tower. So now the gun tower is there. Let's go back to the gun tower. So now it should still say gun tower. It does. And why are you angry? Who are you and why are you angry? Update which info? How do you... Why... nope, I won't do that. So why are you so upset with me? Let's put you into there, move you down. So what was that bug? Let's see. I do like that. We lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was going to say. So yeah, basically none of this happens unless we update the data, which I think is a good thing. So this just prevents doing any kind of update if the data hasn't changed, because we assume that essentially if the data is the same, everything is correct and up to date. And if something does change, it changes inside of the widget, so that has its own call to update the data. So it's basically, as long as the data parent is the same as it was, we can manipulate that inside. And I think a lot of the changes actually end up happening in C++. So for a tower, either we sell it or we do some kind of upgrade to its state. UI is always a headache to deal with. It is. It is. This logic isn't inherently complicated, but with the if checks, it makes it a bit of a pain. But once I sat down and kind of figured out what I wanted to do, then it worked. Stevie, hello. Gil, hello. How are you guys doing? I kind of like working on UI. I'm quite the common UI thing is quite nice. I do like it. So I like that you get like transitions and stuff for free. So that just like fades in. That then fades in. I can click upgrade. Then I can select another one. I actually prevented the fade on this one because I wanted when you just do a data update like this, it just updates the select one. I'm looking forward to trying Common UI later. Common UI is, funny enough, for me, it wasn't too much additional work to implement just because I'd kind of already been doing stuff where I had like a top level. Because Stevie, essentially, the way that I'm using Common UI is that I have this class that exists, and all it is a widget that is shown on screen with a stack for the Common UI, and all you do is you push your widgets into that, and that when you push a new widget in, it changes does like transitions, all sorts of other things, which I really like. It's like you've got these fade things. Now, usually what you do is you have to animate that yourself, and it's kind of a headache. I think the reason I avoided it is because it was marked as beta still. I'm convinced that by the time my game releases, it'll be out of beta, and that's what I'm hoping for. You like working on UI? I think I joined the wrong stream. Why I like UI is you get a bit more of that instantaneous feedback. That's what I like about UI, is like when you click the button, you see the button change. Sometimes like the gameplay programming, you don't always get that. You just go, okay, it's no longer bugged, and I think it's working. Let me put it this way, UI can be a palette cleanser because you just get a completely different set of issues. And Epic says never use beta plugins unless you're willing to potentially suffer later. Lol. One of the plugins that they've marked as ready for, I think ready for production, is still currently super buggy. So at this point, it doesn't scare me. You don't frighten me, Epic. I do have a bug though. Wait, I am playing my game, but I'm not playing my game. Oh, that's why. So we select this one, we select this one, we close this one. That takes us back to the gun tile, which is good. If we click upgrade, it crashes. Why does it crash though? What is it crashing on? It's crashing on a delegate. Is it because their one already exists? Invoke this function. Oh, it's because it's already bound? Dun, dun, dun. I also want to try the model view plugin, but alas, everything is beta in Epic Land True. I haven't used the model view plugin that Epic uses. I have done a model view pattern inside of Unreal Engine, but not specifically using their model view system. We've set it up so that we could plug it in at any point, but we're not using it at the moment. What is... I had this on another class earlier this week. I'm convinced actually I had this in a completely different project. Actually, let's make this a bit bigger so people can actually read all the text. Hey, you're on a 3-stream streak. I need to actually figure out how you implemented that notification that tells the streamer that, look, someone's implemented one. Was there a hook or something that you used through StreamerBot, or did you? It's StreamerBot. Oh, so there's actually an event for it. I do like StreamerBot. It's just built in. Well, that's easy. Isn't StreamerBot just the best? I will add something for it later. Yes, open all my assets. It would be even better if I can program. Here's a trick what I sometimes do for the StreamerBot, the stuff that I have programmed, is because they want it in C# and I don't feel like writing C#. So depending on the functionality that I want, I kind of figure out what I want it to do, and then I just ask Claude to write it for me, and then I test it, and if it works. Ta-da! So for example, if we do this, there's a little UI thing that pops up over here. That entire thing I made, I told Cloud, this is what I wanted to do. Make me a web page and do all this for me. And then it wrote me a little script. And then all I had to do is when I start, and then what I told StreamBot to do is when my stream starts, just create a web server, update it once per second, and then that's it. You vibe coded it. I did, because I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it and I wanted it done, and it did it really, really quickly. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of vibe coding every now and then, you know? Time is money. And now, I got completely sidetracked. Actually, this week I've become more of a fan of not using the other one just because this one's bigger. So we do that, we select that one, we select this one, and we go back to that one, and then we close, and then it breaks. And I press stop. So accessing none, trying to read property, selected tower info. Who? So in the widget blueprint, top tower info apparently. Oh, I know why, because we can have a situation where this actually isn't created yet. Because the first time this runs. So what we should do instead is move this. We could use an ensure, or we could just figure out when this case happens. So let's do that instead. Let's figure out, because what did I want? I wanted this to get updated when the upgrade panel is open and the data changes. So we do this then, which means that we can do this over here. So in that case, so now we've got this situation where if the panel is open, which is true, which means that this has to have been created, otherwise we would have never been able to get to this position. We can somewhat safely assume that this exists, because otherwise something has gone horribly wrong at this point. I want to say never assume with programming, but also I'm going to do the standard thing, which is do as I say, not as I do. I'm a professional. Compile, save. Just because I give out advice doesn't mean I'm going to follow my own advice. So we click upgrade, we go to this one, and then we close. Then we close that one. And then we close this, and that doesn't break. We solved a bug. Now we can go to GitHub, because it's always a treat. If you make something good, when you fix a bug, save your work. Because odds are I might break it in like 5 minutes. We don't want any of that. So what do we change? We change this one, we change this one, and we change this one. Stevie, are you using source control at all for your project? Asking for a friend. Yes. Okay, good. Now I'm less stressed, because it worries me when I watch people working on projects and they're not using some form of like source control. I'm using source control now. Got diversion. What is diversion? Wait, didn't someone at work mention this week? How is this thing taken off so quickly? Diversion. Oh yes, this is exactly what they mentioned this week. I'm not a bot, you're a bot. My work's actually considering looking into this, which is kind of already a big step. I'm a fool and barely know how to use it, but I have Git. That's all you need. All you need is Git. You know the cool things you can do with Git, and why I keep telling people to do it? People because everyone's like, oh no, it's just for source code. Like, there is no benefit in using it for an Unreal Engine project because you can't like diff things. there's a diff button right there. And inside Unreal Engine, you can go and do this. And then it can tell you what it did. And you're like, oh my gosh, what? And then you can go like this. Wait, where's the one that I want? I want event graph. It tells you which nodes I changed. Like it tells you the nodes, it tells you all the changes that I made. Where's actually a change that I made? So here we go. We changed the parent class from this to that. Now because it's a parent class, it got all of these properties added because we changed its type. That got removed. It's fantastic. I've never seen this before. My Git is also free and has unlimited storage. How does yours have unlimited storage? Actually, I don't know what the storage restrictions on Git are. As you use Azure DevOps to host the repo. Ah, okay, cool. So I'm using just standard GitHub. And my project is massive at the moment. I think it's like 15 gigs. And the way I've gotten around, because I think you're limited to 5 gigs, but as long as you're not uploading like big files in a single go, it seems to be fine. I'm worried they're going to change it one day. Files save. What was I doing? Oh, I was committing my work, right? Maybe I'll dual push it to Azure DevOps. My framework is 1.5 gigs at the moment, pretty small. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. I think Odds also uses Azure DevOps for his repo, doesn't he? Fix bug with tower select menu. What was the bug? The bug was switching back to the previous selected tower type wasn't updated. And commit. Can minimize that. I'm sure there's another bug. So look, was there another bug? Start. That one, that one, and that one. We open that one, we click on that one, click on that one, then we upgrade, we click on that one, we click on that one. We close it. Then we select this one. It doesn't open. Ah, it doesn't open because it's currently still the last selected tower. So on close, we need to set it to null. And that it's closed. I'm not gonna lie, this is one of those situations where I miss C++. Because can you just set something? So where's close? That's the upgrade. That should... That's sell. Oh, we can just do that. So what about close? Is upgrade... Is... Tower closed press. We do that. We set as open. I guess that's the same as setting null. It's much more elegant in C++ code. Because I feel like when you set something to null in C++ code, it's very aggressive. Let's try that again. 1, 2, and 3. We click on that one, we click on that one, click on that one, click on that one, we click upgrade. We close that, we close that. We then select it again, and it opens. What about this one? What about this one? It breaks. It breaks. Because your list is twice. So who's actually... Oh, what we can do is do this. We can go close button on clicked dot add unique dynamic and then add the contents of this. And that's basically, apparently that just freezes Rider. So then we can just put the contents into there. We can copy that, close that, and when we restart, that should be taken care of. Because this does a check and goes, when you add the onClick to the delegate, it goes, yo, delegate, let me have a quick chat with you. It's like, yo, what's up? Do you have anything currently bound to you for this onClick? And it goes, yes, I do. And then it goes, Okay, thanks for telling me. I will not ask you to do anything else. And just goes away. And then we don't get, you know, that crash. Well, that bug. Or that thing screaming at us going, why? Why did you do that? Stevie, if you're still here, what days are you streaming at the moment? Because this week you did Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It was very predictable. I was sitting on your stream on Friday, and I had the stream open, and I had the chat open. You're aiming for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in general. I had the chat open, but I wasn't sure at what time. So I had the chat open, and I had first, like, in the thing, and I locked my I was at work. I locked my computer to go get a cup of tea, and then I saw that you came live, and I was like, no, I just locked my computer and walked away. You see, you're gonna train me that at like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I need to like prepare for Stevie's stream. I gotta get those firsts in, you know. Not that they make any difference, but I just gotta get them in. Okay, so what is next? I have a question for myself. Why is this exist? Is it at the top here? You can be the champion of first. That'd be something I'd love to have some custom streamer bot logic in. So I partly have that implemented in streamer bot. Because what I've done is actions. Every time someone says redeems first, it adds their name to a global user, basically a database inside of the global variables. So for example, if we go to Persistent, Twitch, let's go to Crimson, because Crimson is here today. Crimson, where's Crimson? Hello? There we go. So apparently, wait, but Crimson did get first. Apparently, maybe I didn't do it. You have a first leaderboard. This would be super awkward time to figure out that I actually didn't implement the first leaderboard. Let's go to Bubbles. Bubbles. Oh, there is one. Maybe it's not working. So I track fart count, first hydrate, and screenshot. Why did it not add Crimson? Yeah, I know you got first today. I wonder if it's just broken. It might be broken. I may have broken it. So let's see. Redeem first. You redeemed it. Did you redeem it from the website, or did you redeem it from... You redeemed it from chat, which is the one that should work. First command. I may have to fix it. Increment specific user. You see? There's the code. I don't know. I will have a look later and do a test and check. But that's a really awkward way to find out that I implemented a first leaderboard, and it turns out that my first leaderboard is broken. I think it works for screenshots, so I have that going for me. This is what you get when you like data a bit too much. You're like, how many times has someone done this in the stream? How many times have you done that in the stream? Okay, so next, what did I want to do? I really need to start on the entire point of the current branch that I'm in, which is essentially, so at the moment, what we have is when we start a wave and we have an enemy that spawns in, just, you know, magically, that this is a magic portal, they always have the same HP, which I need a nice way of changing. Now, I would like that to be configurable in the actual wave data. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is when I configure the wave, actually set the enemy's health. Because all the logic for what to show gets done inside of the class for me. So it'll be, once it's in, it'll work quite nicely. I just need to go through the process of doing it. I'm wondering if I should merge my changes back first. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay, let's start by doing that. So let's go like this and go... I want to have a streamer bot track who has been active in chat for each of my streams. First time chatter each, who subs and other stream related analysis that Twitch is bad at. Well, that'd be cool. I'm not sure how you check like activity in chat, because I'm not sure if it's activity in chat is sort of counted as have you sent a message within the last hour. Because I know in the streamer bot panel you can see who's currently like viewers, who's currently there, which apparently is only 3 of them. But you'll have like lurkers and stuff, so it must be less than an hour. It must be like half an hour, 15 minutes. But what you could do, depending on how active you want the chat to be, if someone has sent a message in chat, you can basically just set a timer that runs. And if they've sent another message within that time, you can kind of assume they're still live. I would have StreamerBot just add to a counter for every message sent. Nice, okay, fair enough. It would be a database. It should be easy enough to implement. Okay, let's add this. Fix bug in tower info page. With binding delegates multiple times. Commit that, then that. I'm just going to commit that. I'm not going to commit that. I'm not going to commit, and that I'm going to commit. And just fixes like that. We're going to commit that. Then we're going to go branch. Update from main. Actually, because we can, let's do this. Let's go back to main quickly. Cancel, disregard those. Discard, yes. Permanently discard. Discard, discard, discard. Switch back to main. What changes? How is this one still there? Okay, we'll just switch. Don't save. There we go. So now I should be able to go back to main. Now we can go branch, merge into current branch, enemy config. So merge those 8 changes in, push that into the main branch. Okay, so now that branch is essentially not ahead of main, so now we can go back into that branch, and then we can open Rider and tell Rider start up Unreal Engine, and now we can actually make the change that we want to make. Actually, we don't even need to open up Unreal Engine, we can start here. I'm always sort of looking at things that I can sort of improve on the stream side in general. So I've always been like, I sometimes think about, you know, what kind of things can we add that would be sort of helpful to the streamers? Because some people love like tracking data and seeing how many times they've done stuff. I find that, like, so for example, I only recently discovered that Twitch actually shows you where most of your audience resides, like country specific. So mine's mostly US and UK, but it was surprising. I don't know. To me, it wasn't intuitive where that was in the Twitch dashboard. Are you going to be tracking a lot of stats for your game? So at the moment, I actually am tracking a series of stats. I want to track possibly more. One of the reasons I'm tracking stats for, well, I've already implemented stat tracking for my game is there's going to be achievements that are linked to stats, that kind of thing. So at the moment, if we go to, where is it? Source, control. I think it's actually called player, might be under player stats, no, stats. So we've got tower stats, gameplay statistics. Is this Unreal? This must be Unreal Engine's one, yes. Do I inherit this in my code? I've already set up tracking a few stats in my framework. Really handy for debugging. Oh, I actually didn't think about it for debugging. One thing that sucks is you have no way of knowing who has been subbed to you in the past. That's actually a good point. I do think Twitch, there's a lot that they can do to improve some of their stat tracking and some of the data available to the streamer. So if I go save game, so I've got TD save game. I think there's my F game stats. So this is the current stats that I'm tracking at the moment. So total damage is the total damage done by all towers. I actually don't know if this has actually been written. Kills. This is basically the money collected. Number of levels complete. Why am I tracking that? I have no idea. This is actually just a helpful function, believe it or not. So you get the plan is to get an achievement for when you finish the first level. This also helps. Actually, that's all that's for. And then complete the last level. This will also be an achievement for completing the last level. So there's currently 2 achievements that we are tied, which is pretty common for most games. But I wanted to have like specific. I'll have tower specific ones as well. So like do X amount of damage with the gun tower, the electric tower, the missile tower, and so on. Might have something like get a particular type of tower upgraded to max. I'll probably have something that tracks like number of times you've upgraded things, or like the total cost you've spent upgrading and those kinds of things. This is purely for... This is actually level specific, and this helps me determine if basically the load screen for my game. So if we open up this, that struct does this data over here. So it tells me, has this level been complete? And if it's been complete, then it checks the next one. If the next one's been complete, it checks has it been complete. And then the third one is, so we've finished the second level, but we haven't actually finished the third level, so that hasn't been completed, which you currently can't just because it's in testing. So it's a good way of seeing the 3 different states that a level can be in. Sukilos, hello. How are you doing? Your video looked pretty cool. Good job on it. Came out quite well. You got that done really quickly. How do? Pretty good, and you? Just woke up. Nice. I've just set up my interaction system to check if an actor has a interactable tag instead of checking the interface, since it's a much faster check, and I'm using the parent-child setup to make sure all the interactables will have interfaces anyway. Nice! That seems like a good way. We should nerd out about telemetry sometime. I like to try and add telemetry to help me know where players are getting stuck or stopping. Yes, that's a good idea. There is a company, and I have never been able to actually get their data thing to work. Gameplay analytics. But I'd like to add something like this. Not that one. This one. Where you can get sort of telemetry data for your game. So if you want to have a chat about it sometime, could be really cool. Because I'm very interested in not tracking what the player is doing, like the personal player, but how far are they getting? Are people getting stuck at a particular level? Are people playing just one round of the game and then just like closing the game down? So that kind of information where you don't care about the specific player per se, but you're trying to see as a whole how the game is kind of performing. If that, I guess that does make some sense. Because it's not for like tracking, you know, a specific player. It's all about tracking how is the game actually performing? How's it being perceived? Because for example, if it can sometimes be hard to find out that you've got, let's say, 12 levels and most of the people are stopping at like level 3 because they're just bored or that they don't like it. So it's like use that as a way of figuring out what to do next. Like, is it something about that particular level? But yeah, I looked at this a while ago and it looked like it was quite cool. Telemetry to track every time someone looks into the data room. Yes. Yes, do it. Do it. Thank you. Yeah, I got the control rig came together quicker than I expected. Granted, I did the simple version of the control rig. You can do that's useful. Nice. Well, I can already check how long the player has been moving and standing around for. I'm gonna play your game, Crimson, and just throw your stats through the wall. I'm just gonna have the game open and just stand still for like 3 hours. Just skew your stats. No, I'm just kidding. Players are quitting my game at level 3, which is a water level. I don't get it. That's the hard part with the telemetry. It's like, why is that happening? Wait, what does this look like in widescreen? Oh, that looks a lot better than I expected it would look in widescreen. What levels are the best levels? We find out that everyone's quitting in the water level because the water level, no one's machine can actually run it. What about a very narrow screen? Look, it's mobile friendly. This behaved a lot better than I expected. I don't know what I did on this level, but the way this sizes, I'm actually quite happy with. It's also nice to be able to resize the window like this and not have the game crash. There's an issue with ours. I want it to work at the moment. BRB coffee. Oh, that is online. I'm not allowed more coffee. I've had too much coffee today. I'm not sure if you can tell. When I get backside, I'm going to ask you about SFX, so prepare yourself accordingly. Oh no. Oh no. Panic. Why is this broken? Oh, because I click things that I shouldn't be touching. So let's open. Okay, let's do this. Let's start with this. Let's close everything so Stevie doesn't see that I have a sound menu. Goes all to the right. Then let's open one of my managers because I don't remember which manager it is. Why is everyone stopping playing at level 3 and not being my game? It's because it crashes and no one tells you. Use game analytics to tell you. Not an ad. Yes. Cheat manager, enemy manager, grid manager, enemy manager. That's the one. It always opens on. It always opens here, and then this one makes me laugh because I'm pretty sure this one's actually not used anymore. This is a remnant from another time when I made this way too complicated. So, let's kind of loop through the code and figure out where in the code I'm supposed to be. Where in the code I am supposed to set the data. Like where do we technically spawn the enemy with the pooling system in a way that I can set the health for that particular enemy. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Did you find an apartment? We looked at 4 yesterday. We are still trying to figure out what we want to do about it. I've been looking at apartments and places for a month now, and it's a very tiring process. So not yet. We don't have anything confirmed yet. We've got another viewing next week, Saturday, but it should be before enough before Sir can still stream. Yesterday was one of those days where we were so busy because I went out for dinner at my mom's as well. From the start of the day to the end of the day, I didn't actually make a single cup of tea or coffee in my current apartment the whole day. We just did not have time. I don't look for a new apartment unless I have a very specific reason to do so. So the reason I have to look for a apartment is because I'm renting at the moment. We're looking at trying to get our own first place, because renting is great, but it does get tiring when you don't know where you're going to live in the next couple months, in the sense that we signed a 2-year lease, so you kind of know for how long you're going to be there, but then you're not sure, will they allow you to renew the release? Will they allow you to renew the lease? How much the new lease amount is going to be, and all those kinds of sort of those factors that you've got to kind of factor in. So being able to have a place that where if we want to stay there for 5 years, we can, and not have to worry about someone going, oh, we're increasing the rent price, or I no longer want to be a landlord and I'm selling the apartment, get out. I've been in the same place since 2018. 2018, that's 5, what year are we in? 7 years. Oh, that must be so nice. I don't like moving, and for the first 28 years of my life, I stayed in the same place that I was, well, since I was a wee little baby. And that was fantastic because I never had to move. Because moving is a pain, and I don't wish it on anyone. Then, since moving to the UK, I've moved, how many times? I moved 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 times. And when you have to fill in those, like, those forms, because we have those forms here that you fill in, like, about your credit history and stuff, it's like, where have you lived for the last 5 years? And you've got to now go back and remember, like, okay, what date did I move out of that place? How long was I at that one? It's a huge disruption. It's such a pain. I just want to be able to... I've moved so much. And it was funny, because like the first 28 years of my life, I didn't move. Like, not once. And then I've moved basically every year since then. And it's just like... It's so... The last time we moved, I feel like it took me a year to recover from moving. But yeah. Stevie's back. Gross? Yes. Yes, gross. So Stevie, since you were back, what is your SFX sound question thingy that you wanted to ask me that I may or may not know? Do you have SFX in your game? I have 1 SFX in my game. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have 2. So I have... On the main menu, you probably can't hear it, but I think, don't quote me on this, we have 1 when you click a button, but my sound is super low on the game because I would hear it 1,000 times, so I turned it off. And then 2, I have it when I have 3D sound on my gun tower. So when my gun tower shoots, it plays 3D sound. You want to hear the very frustrating sounds. How do I even turn up volume? Oh, there it is. That one. Where is Unreal Engine? Okay, yeah, it's literally just like off. So let's see, does it work? So start with. You can barely hear it. I turn it up anymore. No. So I have that one, and then I can't hear it at all. I can barely hear it. Hold on, let's do this. If I go like this, and then I go... Those are supposed to play sounds. that doesn't help. So let's go like this. Let's go gun tower. Open that one. That's the sound cue. So now that I have the sound cue selected, I can open it and then... Oh, that would be why. There's the multiplier, 0.8. Save. I just wanted a sound to make sure it was working. So it doesn't... It's not the best sound, but hopefully you can hear it now. There we go. And it's a 3D sound, which means that as I move away, it gets quieter. And then get closer. Pew, 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 pew. Sala, yes. So that's pretty cool. And it's also linked. We should add a few sounds to our games. I really want to. I love adding sounds. It adds such a different... It makes it feel alive. That's the thing about sound, is it takes it from being like just the thing and it makes it feel alive. We don't have to go overboard. Join me using Soundly. What is Soundly? The other thing that I must just like stress, if you do, when you start doing sound, make sure you've like set up your, how you want to do your sound. So what I mean by that is, in my game, one of the first things I set up like ages and ages and ages ago is in the settings panel. You see I've got master, music, sound, and audio. These are 4 sort of sound channels that you can call it. Master affects all of them. Sound, music effects, obviously only music, sound, and UI effects. And what you do is, if you create something like a sound cue, when you set up the specific classes for that, you can tell it this is the class it uses. So that, you see I've got one for sound effects, one for UI, one for those, that's the Unreal specific one. But basically, I've got these already set up so that by telling this sound cue to use that class, when the user changes the volume in the menu, it automatically applies it directly to this one. So if I open this, and they're very simple to set. So you'll have a master volume, and the master volume just controls the 2 children. And that's basically it. So you've got 2 parts, which is that part, and then you've got this part. And that just has, and that's just thing you can apply EQ and all sorts of other things. I think as a streamer, having audio is kind of actually important when you're sort of developing the game as well. Is that what you meant? I think I'm just about, oh, what do you call it? So Soundly is a complete audio platform. Is it expensive? Oh, it actually has a bunch of free things. Okay, I need to have a look at it. So, like, I'm hitting the point where I'm starting to try and get the game to a point where I'd like people to sort of test it and get some initial feedback on how it feels and looks at the moment. And I feel like one of the things that it needs is some sound, because otherwise it just feels flat. Let me put the music on. The $15 one is the one you'll probably use. It's not too bad. I suppose that's yearly. So it's $20 per thing. I have a lot of sound assets from Humble Bundle. Fair enough. So I'll probably look at using something like Soundly as well. It would be nice to have some sound effects, especially ones that sort of sound like that make the game feel like they work. I usually land up starting actually with UI and making the UI sound like it. Like the UI is, I think, the easiest place to start. That's why, you know, get the UI one set up can be quite cool. And we'll need it for our trailers. Yes, we do need it for our trailers. We need to have some kind of sound to play for the trailer. Otherwise, it's going to be just, yeah. I also want to try and find like some ambient music for the menu, but the menu, I have no idea what the menu's going to look like. I've got a vague idea. But I'll look at Soundly and get probably something sorted. I would like to get more sounds added sooner. Sound is hugely important for game feel. Yes, it is. Right. I finished my tea and I didn't even realize I drank my tea. I thought I hadn't even started it. Nope, I don't want to do that. So, what does this do? Do you know any of the sounds that you want to use for your game yet, Stevie? Or any of the music and those kinds of things? Because I was speaking to like Sikilos about it, and he was mentioning that for the music for the game, you kind of almost need a complete game for the artist to be able to sit down with it and figure out what to add. I found some Foley on Soundy that I will probably use. Foley. Oh, nice. Okay. I'll have a look at the free 10,000 samples that we get and then sort of make a decision from there. I probably have some sounds like that Crimson has as well from some of the tons of Humble Bundles that I bought. For the music, I want to have a vertical slice with proper assets at the very least. Yes, that would help. For music, you want a vertical slice and the proper assets at the very least. You can listen to all the samples on the Soundy app. So you can listen to all the samples, you just can't get access to all of them unless you have the higher tier, which is actually kind of a nice way of doing it. You don't necessarily need a complete game, but need a complete idea. And you have to be able to explain it properly. Yes, that makes sense. I can partly explain it at the moment. I think once I get my my enemies, the theme for my enemies in, the game will start feeling a bit more complete. Because I want to get that done, and then I want to start getting the look of the environment into the game. Because then you've got a sort of a environmental feel for how everything looks. So then you need just something that sort of matches that. So we configure the wave, get the data table, this code is blocking, actually kind of helpful. Then what do? So we get the level name, we load the asset, we get the data table. How can you know what kind of audio you want for a game if you don't understand the game well enough to describe it? Exactly. It's an impossible task then. Well, someone that you want the audio to, someone you want to do the audio if you don't even know what you want the game. Yeah, make music. But what do you want? I don't know. So we get the data table row, we load that in. We load the asset. And then we set the data table. So that's all that does. So where does that get used? Find references by name. Okay, so event on manager ready, we do that. Then we build the spawn pool. Then we configure the defaults and we handle path visualization. So what happens after path visualization? That just fetches and gets the spline. Fine. Okay. So this is all setup code. None of this is actual spawning. This is all just get everything ready. So then when do we actually spawn? So then we go on wave start. We call start wave. Has it been an hour already? Man, time flies. One of the things I still need to do is get... Because I think Stevie started this where sort of storyboarding how you want your demo to look. And I want to spend some time sort of storyboarding some of that. Because I think you were speaking about the how much you revealed in your trailer versus how much is in the game. And I think I actually have that. I yoinked a screenshot when you were talking about that in the stream. It's a book that I'm reading. Where is Obsidian from? There it is. That's that one. Where was it? Game dev. Where is game dev? The story concept. This was yoinked directly from Stevie's stream. This was quite a cool thing. I don't think my game's gonna go in depth as this. I have storyboarded the opening scene for my game for what I want to show. I've got a few options for how I can show sort of the opening scene. At the moment, the current idea is I might take a page out of like Blizzard's playbook. When Blizzard does short stories for some of their game content at the moment, they do these things where you've got an image with sound that gives you enough of the idea of what's happening. So for example, here's an image of the army. Oh, we've got ads. Let's just wait. Viticulus has turbo, so they can still hear me. The worst is when you give someone references that one thing and then what they're asking for is something else, or you give them 2 to 3 references and they have almost nothing in common, and it's almost impossible to recognize them in a single track. Ah, right. It sounds like Sikilos is well versed in dealing with difficult people that don't know what they want. I used to work in theater. I've done nothing but deal with people who don't know what they want. Not to mention all the party planners I've worked with. Oh, party planners, that's a whole different thing. I'll be right back. There is someone at my door. I have returned. Oh no, people. You could do a 1-page story using the structure there. The problem with the tower defense game is it's not the most... It's not usually a game... Well, the ones that I've played don't really have deep stories. They're kind of just place tower and stop enemies, and that's kind of it. So things like having, you know, the major setback in the game and the final push you can get, like I played Defense Grid, which had like the final push, which was like the last mission, was quite difficult, but there wasn't the setback. So for example, the setback, I think Steve explained it, where the hero kind of loses all their upgrades or all their stuff that they've like collected throughout the game so far. And it's funny, when it was explained like this, when Steve was talking about it and I read this, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. Like Tomb Raider games where Laura gets abducted and they take away all her guns and stuff, so then she's got to try and escape. She's got no guns, she can't shoot people, but she's got to like get out of there. And then she gets out of there and then, you know, meets up with the other people, and now they're gonna meet up to stop the dude from using the magic thing that he doesn't understand because he wants ultimate power. Stevie's read the story overview for my game, and story is going to be one of the main things of my game outside my combat. Nice. I'm sort of excited to do a story that goes with it, because there's this part of my brain that has to make it kind of all fit together. Like maybe it doesn't. Like from the player's perspective, it really doesn't. But I need to have sort of a reason for why the enemies are attacking the cube. Why are you in the game? Why are you doing the thing? Like I feel like it ties it all together. The story, even though is maybe not the most important thing for a tower defense game, I do want to have something that those kinds of people that are interested in it would probably appreciate. 3K words overview. So a simple story, right? 3,000 words is your simple overview. Mine is like nowhere near that much. Definitely nowhere near that much. Sidetracked again. So let's have a look. What did I want to do? So that's the enemy death. Here's start wave. So we're spawning. So we get out the row name. So this is the data table, which is currently not set. Unreal Engine 5, woohoo. Unreal Engine 5 is the best. 10 out of 10 would recommend. There we go. So what do we want to do? Right, so we get the data table row. Oh, speaking of software being difficult, oh no, what happened? We get the length and we check if... Whoops. We check that. Then what do? We get the index, we get the table row, we get the spawn group, and we set it as the current spawn group. Then we say whether it's a build wave. We set the spawn group index, apparently, not that we do anything, and then we go handle next spawn group. So then we do handle next spawn group, we get the spawn groups, we check if the current index is less than the length to make sure that we're not out of range. If it's true, it means we're spawning. If it's false, it means we're finished spawning. Actually elegant, which is good. The other day, I was opening Notepad to make taskbar disappear. What? Why? Why did you have to do that? I mean, I do have... The other day, I was opening Notepad. It made... Oh, it made my taskbar disappear. That's impressive. But how... But like... Notepad isn't even a complicated program to open. It's not very big. It's tiny. I think the program is not even a megabyte in size. Like, how does that crash taskbar? Like, did it crash or did it close and then reopen? It's going to be big and complex. I don't know. I mean, I do have a game idea for my own tower defense game, but it's one is where you only have a massive tower that grows and you add weapons to it. Have to mine materials and make your own ammo and power factories on the tower. It does sound pretty cool. I closed my taskbar when I closed Notepad and it appeared again. Oh, so now the new Windows feature is you can either have taskbar or Notepad, but not both at the same time. So choose wisely. What's more important? Okay, so here we set timer by event. So this is the actual spawning. This is the actual code that handles spawn. The timer for when to spawn each enemy is here. Okay, I'm putting my crochet project away and I'm going back to co-working. What are you crocheting? Crochet is the weirdest word. I always want to say croquette. Like croquette. Oh, that means you're working on a game right now, Stevie. I hope. Or maybe working on something else. Either way, it's exciting. It's cool, but also ambitious. It is. All my game ideas are ambitious. They are, Crimson. They really are. Explorer.exe slowly becomes the worst feature in Windows, and it's only feature that actually needs work. I don't know where that goes, so I don't click fair. What's interesting is Explorer is becoming more and more complicated. So your taskbar apparently is, I think, a React program now. It's just like a React web browser, which is why it takes so long to start. I'm making a blanket as a gift for a friend who really loves Christmas. Ah, that's so kind of you. I'm working on my game, yes. Nice! We're both working on the game, making progress. Good, good, good. What? 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 I'm trying to add one field to one array, not array, one struct, just so I can set the pulse property of my enemies. And it's like that. Is that true in Windows 11 or other versions? I think it's more of a Windows 11 feature. There's like React built into the start menu, which is interesting. Like, have you seen how long it takes Explorer to open? So that was just opening Explorer there. Like, Explorer should not take that long to start. Oh yeah, opening File Explorer feels like opening a web page. It even opens the same way. It does. That's a web page opening. It is. So hold on, where is React used in Windows 11? React is used in parts of Windows 11, including the recommended section of the start menu and within the settings app. Microsoft uses React Native for Windows to allow faster development of code sharing, leveraging native platform performance while building the UI. So the start menu apparently it's only the recommended section, which is on my start menu is the entire bottom half of it at the moment. My start menu is on the other window, which is why you can't see it. I only have the taskbar on one of my screens because that way you can have full screen Unreal Engine and not have to worry about seeing the bar at the bottom, because that annoyed me, and I didn't want to have the gap at the top was the other option because that's 19 by 20, so I didn't want that like gap at the top, so I went with no taskbar for me on the screen. You know, the whole thing would be far more bearable if Microsoft had a super basic version that didn't have all the features. I would turn off a lot of the features because I don't need them. So where is this magical thing? So here's the spawners for the pre-group delay, and these are the spawn units. So enemies to spawn, and then group match. So what does this code actually do? We set the time, so that's the pre-group time. So then what? So we settle that. Then what happens? Like, what happens after this? Oh, right. There's the piece of code that I'm looking for. So handle next enemy spawn. Handle next enemy spawn. So this is the timer that gets called after this is all updated. This is the code that's run after the timer runs. Cool. We handle next thing. We get the enemies to spawn. We set the index. We set the spawn count, group size, and then we do set time by event. And this is where we actually spawn the enemy. So spawn time handler. So now when we set the spawn time handler, we get the time, we get the amount, we get the pre-health, and we get the group spawns. So spawn enemy is this one. So we get the current one, we get all that information. And then we go set enemy to start. That's the enemy type. That's the enemy to spawn. So now we need okay, so this looks like it's the one that I'm guessing this is the one that actually handles spawning. So we request an enemy, here we go. Then we set its state, we do all of that, we get the spline, and we set its position. So this code here would be the perfect place to set the enemy's health. So we're going to work backwards. So we do want this there. So set enemy state does that. Now, is this a C++ piece? What is this? This is the generated code, which doesn't help me. So set enemy state. This has got one blueprint implementation, really. Ah, it does that. So then, if that does that, that sets the enemy state, that adds it to that. Can we do set enemy health? Ooh, we can. So if I go and I set this to 9,800, what happens? They can keep all the crazy APIs, but just don't implement everything that people don't want. I have a feeling that SteamOS is going to become a big problem for Microsoft in the future. Yes, because it's very... I want to use the word clean, for lack of a better word. It's less bloatware intense. Not enough people want to deal with Linux directly, but if Valve can have their own platform, one that developers want to create for them, MS is going to be in some trouble. I actually think, yeah, that's true. The only reason I don't switch OS is that I can easily play games. The moment there's a better OS that allows me to play games, that allows all games to work, I'm there. Yeah. I think that's actually very insightful. I guess that is the big problem. For a lot of people, they just want to be able to easily play games and browse the internet. That, like, for a lot of people, that's what they use their computer for. Browse the internet, play games. Cool. I'm quite excited for the SteamOS thing. I like the idea of, I don't know, I've become quite, I like the concept of having a thing like that's purpose built to do one thing very, very good, or very, very well would be the correct way of saying that in English. Primogen had a video the other day and he pointed to a stat showing that the amount of internet traffic from Linux users systems has increased by 1 to 2%. That's actually quite a large margin. I must say, like, I set up a Proxima server recently, and I was surprised at the tools that are available on that and the ability to get stuff set up and how quick it was. So for example, like setting up VMs was super quick and the VMs were very responsive. Even a Windows VM on the Proxima server was like super responsive. I actually have a sort of a Linux, I have a Linux machine actually set up on that Proxima server that I use that I can play around as my Linux environment. I think I'd probably still keep my Windows machine as my sort of dev machine, but if I had another machine that was for games only, like the SteamOS one, I think I could see myself moving to something like that as well, which is kind of exciting. Also, I love cube-shaped things. It's such a random thing, but it was like a square cube, and I was just like, yes, aesthetically pleasing for me. It's because my favorite shape is a square, okay? Don't judge me. You weren't tested like I was. What was I testing? Oh, we wanted... So this dude should just have all the HP. He changed color. I'm not sure why he changed color, to be completely honest with you. I think his health did change, but it didn't update the internals. Because that dude ain't dying. Can I slow this down? Yes, let's go like this, and there's a way of doing... Actually, wait, let's do this. That's not a problem at all. Nobody panic. Oh, that's fine. I still need to fix that. The other day, they came up with a plugin standard similar to VTS, VTS2, VTS3 for Linux, and the plugins I have became available in that standard is the day I switched to Linux. Those are just spicy warnings. So exactly, they're just spicy warnings. We don't need to worry about them. And now I don't have to worry about them because I can't see the spicy warnings anymore thanks to Sekilos. So I appreciate your commitment to the spicy warnings. What was I doing? Okay, so let's put down this tower here. Let's add some cheats. Let's add some upgrade points. I'm here for you, buddy. Kinda. True. I have no spicy warnings in my framework. Aren't I fancy? Yes, you're very fancy. Okay, let's add another one there, another one there, another one there. So these are max level towers, which means that they do a substantial amount of damage. So if I place all of these down and these guys still don't take any damage, then we know something's up. I think they are. Well, I know I've kind of already confirmed that it is. I just want an excuse to make a whole bunch of very strong towers and throw very strong enemies at them and see what happens. What I'm expecting to happen, because I haven't updated it correctly, is the bar is beyond full. So what's happening is it's only showing us like 500 HP of the 9,500. You know what might be a good idea is to implement an upgrade all button in my cheat menu. So I can just place a bunch of towers and just click upgrade all, and then just have all my towers just super buffed. I also need another way of visually showing that a tower is like stacked, like max stacked. Tyler, can you even read chat? Yes and no. With my glasses on, no. With my glasses off, generally I read the chat better. Oh, exactly like Sekilos says. What started as a tower defense game quickly became an exercise in sadism. So then let's do that, and then what we'll do is we'll open up the stats menu, and we'll see how much damage these towers are doing. I don't know why they changed color. So they've already done 3,500 damage. I'm not worried, you're worried. So that's damage to kill 3 of them. Actually, the laser towers should be really good. Where's my laser tower? Laser. Where's my laser? I'm so blind. There. The laser tower should be able to take care of a lot of these guys. That's not laser. Cell. Oh, you see how they get low HP and then they just explode? I suppose what we could do is just eject, select that enemy and see his HP. Health. Should I expose it publicly? I don't know what that round of applause is about, but I'm here for it. It does sound like a round. Actually, you're right. All the towers are clapping as the enemies walk past. That's what it is. Dum, dum. Enemy base. Me? So inside of this, what I'm trying to figure out is when I change the health, there's a function that's supposed to change the widget. Here's the setup health widget. Begin play. Set up health bar. So is that the problem? So if I add a function, let's just add a function. What are the functions? Set up health bar. Let's go update health. And I'm gonna put my glasses back on. I can see again. This will take in a float. Let's see if this will work. So a float. New HP, new health. That will call set health. Set enemy max health. Like that. And that will then call update health. New health. Suspicious, but whatever. And hopefully that now works. So start. Because what we're wanting is purple. Purple is the color we're wanting. That's not the color we're wanting. Oh, I never actually call that. Delete that one. What was it? Update health. Are you public? You are public. When the power goes out for a second and you compulsively yell, my windows. Gun tower. What are you? You are an enemy. Health. What do we have that's health? Set max health. Oh, and if I call set max health, what happens? Set max health. Does set max health take care of this for me? 9,000. Oh, I never actually connected it, did I? Whoops. So it works but doesn't work. Fair. So where do we handle? What does this do? Let's update health. Set up health bar, that's the one I want. So we get the current health. Ah, so that gets it from the data asset, which we don't want to do anymore. Get user widget object. So we casted the widget object, we update that. I'm guessing that takes care of all of that. So that's why this doesn't work, because we're reading it in from the data asset. Now, if the data asset has the health, let's just do that instead. And let's put a connection over there, and a connection over there. Go, we can move that forward. So that's enemy health. Enemy health. Like that. Save. Set up health bar takes that. So we go back to this. Set up health bar will be by default 500 HP. I'm always worried when this kind of thing happens. See, there it's fine. I hope it hasn't gotten, like, corrupted. So, let's think. We update the enemy state, that's fine. But inside of this class, we're going to have to update the health, which is good. And inside of you, on the event graph, we're going to set the default HP to 500. And then we're going to call setup health bar, which is going to be set up health. Ooh, there might be a better way of doing this. Request enemy. Set enemy state. So on enemy state, this gets implemented in code. So blueprint callable, blueprint implementable event. So what we can do is in here. Hello, Tanner. Here's the set state. So then after set state, we can call setup health bar. The health bar can just read in get max HP. She's so cute. She's sitting on my desk because she wants a snack. And she knows that if she sits on my table like this and just acts very cute, that she'll get a snack. She's been napping on the couch. There was a Bubbles left the blanket on the couch because we were watching Netflix earlier. And she decided that was a good place to go under the blanket and sleep there. And she's been there for the last 3 hours, but now she's awake and she's obviously hungry. And now she wants a little snack. And she was invisible, and now she's not invisible. Hello. He loves the little head scratches. Netflix, huh? Yes, Netflix. So that should take care of that. So then before we call set state, we should set the health. So set max, enemy max HP. And we'll move this all to the left. And we'll do the way that Stevie taught us, which is you just press the arrow keys and it makes space. We can move that to the left as well. Then we can put a... Actually, we'll put that in there. Then we'll put one of those in there. We'll put that over there. We'll disconnect that one. Nope. We'll disconnect it. That can go straight in there. That can be disconnected. That can be put in there. That can be aligned. We can move that to the left. Cat shark. The only part of the arrow keys is they generate 1 million undos. Oh, I didn't think of that. I'll just not undo, it's fine. Spaghetti maxing, exactly. Enemy. Hardcore coding, no undo. Exactly. So that sets the enemy health now. So now we can go one step back and we can move up the chain until we can figure out where we want this. One thing I do wish is I wish the viewport and the event graph were always the first two on the far left. Like, it's great that you can tab move them, but they land always in the wrong order and then I have to always move them back. I know it's a minor thing, but it annoys me. So enemies to spawn is currently... I wonder, how do we do... What is the best way of doing the health for this? Because this is a array of enums. We could change the type to an array of... Can we do a set? Is there make set in... What do I have here? Hold on. I might have to go feed the cat because she's now taking over my whole desk and she thinks this is okay. We have a map, but we can't do a map with that. So we could do... Set is unique. I could change it to a struct of enemies to spawn. Let's find out, where is this used? It's her desk, you fool. True. It is her desk. I'm just borrowing it at the time being. She's staring at my phone on the desk quite intently. You look like you're gonna take a nap. Okay, let me go give her a treat. I will be right back. I've returned and the cat is now happy. So this is where we spawn an individual enemy. So here's where we want to set the health. Let's do an experiment to see if this is actually working. So 2500 HP should be 5 blocks of blue. Start. So it's only 1, so something, and they're now very luminous. So let's go and find out why. Before I go through the whole process of updating this thing, let's just find out why aren't you working. So you are actually called inside the enemy base over here. So we do this, we set the enemy health, we set the max value, we cast the widget, and we set the widget's max values. Let's just do that like that. So what does this do? Does this code even run? It does. So the current max value is 100. So it's updating the first time and then never again. So if I press start, spawn the enemy, so it gets triggered. So now we've gotten 0. Why is it 0? Oh, I missed the C++ graph where you can click back. So now I need to manually go and figure out where this gets called and why is it not being set. So in here, it's probably, so here is what we call this. And let's wait, let's press stop. Put one here, start. So here we have 2500. And we pass in 2500, so we go step. So now it's still 2500, so we step into it. Set enemy max health. So we go, oops. So it's 2500 enemy max health. We step into that node. We step over that, we step over that, we step over that. Get enemy max health. 0. Why is enemy max health 0? Is there like multiple of these? So let's open the C++ function. So enemy base. That one. Set enemy max health. If health widget, set enemy widget is that. So enemy max health is equal to that. So does this get set? Press play. So that's 100. Here we go. So that's 100. That's fine. Continue. And let's go back to the non-C++ code, which is here. So we continue. Oh, we have to actually continue in there. So we'll just continue all of these for now. We'll go back to it. We'll enable the debugger again. We'll press start, and now we should hit that one first. So that's correct. That's correct. So hit the debugger. So now the max health value is equal to 2,500. Which is correct. Then if we have a health bar widget, which we do, we get the widget and we set the health widget equal to the enemy health, which is 100, divided by 2,500. Why? Why would the max health do that? To me, that's a bug, but we can look over it for now. So then what happens? We do that, we end. So now we set the enemy state. Right. And we go into set enemy state, so step into that execution. We go over. Now for some reason we call set enemy health. Oh, the walking state. So set walking state, for some reason, sets the health to 0. So let's continue and see why set warning state is doing that. So go, yeah, I know. So set enemy walking state is this one. Oh, that's why, because we set up the health bar and we set the new enemy health amount. So what we should do so we're actually doing this. So get max, get enemy max health. So actually that does kind of take care of this for us. So instead of doing that in the enemy manager where we do this after we set state, we can delete that because that takes care of it for us. Then that should now work. There we go. So next. We do that. We set the health. Next. So that is number 2. So it's between 10,000. Continue. 2,500 should be how many? Oh, it is correct because it needs to be multiple of 3,000s. We can take that one off and we can press stop. So then if I set this to and close that one, enemy manager. So now in the enemy manager, the base. Have you ever used the debug blueprint debugger? Push debug debugger. Debug blueprint debugger. Actually, no, I haven't. Oh wait, you can actually see the call stack in blueprints. I did not know you can see the callback in the call stack in blueprints. So let's actually, I'm going to use that now then because I was just complaining about that. So forefront backplane, thank you for that. Let's test that quickly. So if we go back to the enemy manager, here's where we are doing. So we set the enemy state like that. So let's do this. We'll go back into this. We'll go into here. And we'll set a breakpoint there. We'll press play. Absolutely, it's almost a real programming language. So there, okay, that would have been... It even tells you when it hits C++ as well. So where's this? Can I go to this? So set enemy max health. Set enemy max health. So it does do it It's just not as intuitive as the C++ one, but you can actually see the call stack. That's super helpful. How do you see this call stack? So if you click debug and go blueprint debugger, it shows you when you've got a breakpoint, where it hit, and all the entire call sequence, which I didn't know. This is the first time I've ever seen this. I kind of expected it to be like Rider or Visual Studio or any other of the other ones, where when you're debugging blueprint or when you're debugging code, if it hits a breakpoint, it shows you that window. So for example, in Rider, when it hits a particular blueprint, it will show me it up in here. But that's super helpful, thank you. And then you can actually just click on it to see what called it. So we can see, for example, we called set max health here, and that was called by this one here, which called set max health. That's actually super helpful window. Can this not just be like permanently pinned? Like, where would a cool place for this to be? Maybe there. Will it stay there? Oh, I have to put it on each one. Sex, math, health. Oh, you picked up on that, did you? Thank you. Thank you. What kind of game is this? So then, if we press continue and we press start, we should hit that trigger again. And we can see that set over here, which is this one, which called it, which is that, which is fantastic. So I guess what we need is actually to do this, where I'll just have it up to the left there. And I'll put it about there on my screen. So when I do debug code, specifically blueprints, at least when I switch between... Nope, it doesn't do it. Doesn't do it. Doesn't stay. There's got to be a better way of actually having this just stay permanently. I'll put it on the other screen like that. Okay, so it only shows in the blueprint that you're in. Okay, fine. I'm obnoxious about picking up on things like that. I never noticed. I never noticed before. And continue. So we can disable that. We can continue. Disable that one, and we continue. See, now we've actually got more HP. They're still luminous. Like, I'm guessing if I restart the engine, they'll fix themselves. They kind of look hysterical like that. So that isn't anywhere 2,500 health then. So let's put one of you down. Let's add this, and then upgrade this. Another gun tower. Let's max that one, and that one. And the HP is actually tracking correctly now, which is super exciting. I mean, a lot of times I don't say anything. It came across as me correcting people when it's mostly me expressing amusement. I can get that. Cool, so we can now set the health for each one of them, which is fantastic, and I'm super happy about that, except it's still static, and we don't want it to be static. We want it to be configurable. So at the moment we have the set, what is this function called? Set enemy to stop. This is basically what this does is, remember that at the start of every game we sort of pre-pool, thank you for the fart, Temptic. We pre-pool a bunch of enemies to spawn, which are sitting somewhere here in my game. Then what this function is doing is it's moving them, it's requesting an enemy from the spawn pool. It's setting the HP, it's setting its state, and it's adding it to the move array, which is the one that handles moving enemies around our map, and updating its position to the start of the spline in the set actor. Now, what this does is what is the word? We need the enemy to be able to, so if I get this working, it allows me to be able to configure more startup information for the enemy. So we essentially need a struct that says the type of enemy we want, the health that we want, and then any other data that is associated to that. Now, I can't remember where I set this up. Well, I've got a vague idea of what, I mean, I can search for the enemy type inside the struct, but I need to move back throughout the process to find out how we can still get all that data in a useful way. So if we go back to the event graph and now we search for set enemy to start and hope that I can spell it. We've got a few places that we call that. So that one's no longer valid. That's not valid. That's not valid. That is the one that we're currently using. So it's that one. So that's that. So now we have this enemies to spawn. So what is that? That is the array. Because remember that if I go and I open this, that's the array of enemies that are going to spawn. A, B, A, B, A, B, which is pulled from the data asset. So the data asset is enemy data. Actually, I have no idea what it is. Spawn list level 1. I think it's that one. So here we go. So spawn list level 1 indicates the spawn units, which is an array of enemies, and that's it. It's just an array of enemies at the moment. So we want to find spawn units in the C++ code. So let's go to C++. So we find f spawn units because it's a struct. Apparently that doesn't exist. Really? Spawn unit. Spawn units. It's an array, so it's not a struct. So this is the data associated with a single enemy. I can't spell today. Enemy spawning. Right. So that is the data that we're getting here, which is the same data that is currently this. But what we're going to do is we're going to change this to that struct type, because then we can pull out, we can make very minimal changes for this. So what we're going to do is let's find this, because if we can make as few changes as possible, that's always ideal. So let's find this. Where do we set it? We set it here. So here we go. So we've got, this is the data. So remember that now, that is this entire struct here. So that's what that is. Which means that if we change this type here, and we change this type here, so that should give us all the necessary changes that we need to make. Now, what I want to do is I want to put a comment around here and say change this to a struct, because that's the entry point for where we set that data. Then I'm going to close this down. Actually, no, before I close it, what do we have in the first wave? First wave is just that, which is enemy B, enemy C, and enemy D. Is that really the first wave? Then wave 5 is A, B, C, D. So it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Fine. Okay, so A, B, C, D, and then A, B, C, D. So it's all of them. So fairly simple. So if we go back to here, instead of it being a T array of enemy types, we want this to be a T array of structs. So structs, so spawn, so enemy type. So what is a good name for this? generate the body. Let's just call that 2 so it stops shouting. So spawn unit, so it's going to be a single spawn unit. So that, why don't we just call it spawn unit? Is that a thing that exists? No. So spawn units can stay the same, and we'll just call this spawn unit. And that's going to be an enemy type, which is just going to be enemies. Enemy type. Let's see if this is going to work. And we want that. We want that, and then we want max health. Oh, we have ads. Okay, let's wait for the ads. So, float, max health. Yay, ads. Let's break this in a nice way. So, we'll do that, and we'll actually just do an array. Array so that we can make the changes of this while the other data still exists, and that's going to be equal to that, because then we've got both the data properties that exist, and we can basically copy the data over, which is actually not the worst idea I've had this week. I think this will work. We'll see. I'll be right back. I need to get another splash of water. I need those H2Os.
I could set you free, show you what this world can really be. Here with me, I could set you free of the pain and misery and let you be. Here with me, I could set you free. I could set you free.
I have returned. The ads have ended. Your internal suffering has come to an end. And I have more water. Right, now we get to see if I was right or wrong. Welcome back, thank you. Welcome back to you. Not that you had ads, because you have turbo. Oh, good. You don't have to say it with such a lack of enthusiasm. You can never have too much water unless you're drowning. True. Ooh, look, spicy warnings. Oh, I can't believe it's Monday tomorrow. I don't want to go to work. Actually, I do want to go to work. Let's not lie to ourselves. Why did that open on that window? Stupid Monday. What I need to... I don't remember what I've got to do tomorrow. The thing is, like, tomorrow... So tomorrow's the start of December. What's today the start of December? Tomorrow's the start of December. I've got a week of work. Then I have a long weekend. Yeah, it's a week of work. A long weekend. 3 days of work. The next weekend. Then it's already the 15th of the month. And then I've got like 5 days until the December holidays start. Which is scary. It's almost the next year. Ah, look, there's our spawn units. Spawn unit. Which we have to change to spawn units, but we can do that afterwards. So then we can go like this, and we can go promote to a variable. And we can go like this, 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 and this. We can take this, put that into there, that goes there. We could change this and compile it, save it. And instead of new variable, we can call it spawn units. Because that's what it's going to be called. And that gives us that. Now, fantastic. The final grind of the final month of the final quarter, indeed. This year's gone quite quickly, which is a little scary. I suppose we say that every year, don't we? So then... so now instead of that, we'll use our new variable. So we'll go like this, and then we'll go is valid index. We'll put that in there. We'll go like that. Then we'll take that again, we'll put it here, and we'll go get reference. And that'll be there. We'll break this. Break. We'll put that into there. That into there. So now we no longer need that. So we can delete that. We can delete that. Like that. Go like that. We can make that a bit spacious. Like that, put that in there. Now in theory, that should just work. Time has been spinning, speed running itself since 2020. It has. I think we're halfway through the decade now. We're actually past the halfway through for this decade, for 2020 to 2030. We are officially closer to 2030 than we are to 2020. Why would you say that out loud? It's disgusting. Why would you say that? Actually, What's worse is we're closer to 2050 than we are to 2020, 22,000. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So that is done. So now we should just go add an array. There's 2 members inside of here. This should be A, which we need to set. Would like to unsubscribe on the timeline updates, please. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So now we can say that the first wave of enemies has 800 points. Not 8,000, 800. Actually, let's do this. Let's do 800. Then we'll do the next wave. Will be B. And let's make this 200. Because I want to check that that one works. Then for that one, we'll go and make it member point C. And we'll make that 400. Then this will be a tanky wave. So we'll make them only 5. And we'll go and add a member variable. And that's going to be D. And that's going to be 1000. So it'll change the color. Then last but not least, we'll go and we'll add all of them back. And we'll say that it's A, B, and C. So A is going to spawn. B is going to spawn. And C is going to spawn. And D will spawn. And we said it was 800... 200, 400, and 1000. I fell asleep and I missed your stream. Exit, why would you do this to me? Why would you do this to me? I hope you had a good sleep. And let's see if this works. So start. Oh, actually, Space Tower's done. Okay, so he has a lot of health, which looks like it works. So enemy A, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's make a upgrade stack that's just like absolutely stacked. So 40% crit damage, base damage increase. Close that. We'll add 1, 2, 3, 4 of these. Or add 4 laser towers. And then we'll close that down and we'll press start. So we're expecting 800, so that looks about 800. And we'll speed it up a bit. Now we should get a very easy wave, 200. But there should be lots of them. Yep. Which is super exciting. 400. And now we should get a tanky wave, so it'll be 1000. Which is 1 health unit, which is correct. I still think the health bars are too big. You get beef for a goof lunch? Ooh, that does sound good. And now we should get a super mixed wave. So 800, 200, 400, 1000. So it works. We have multi-health enemies in our game, which is fantastic. Now I just need to do the cleanup. And quit. Good job. Good job, team. Good job. So I want to close that down. What did I call these? I called these some weird names. Oh yeah, that's what I did. So these are going to be called spawn units. We can delete this property. like that. I'm going to call that spawn units. We're going to set the default type to A, equal E, enemy type A, max health equal, let's make it 500. And that should be all good. I'm quite happy with that. It's funny, I've been putting this off for like 2 weeks to do it, but when I sat down and just thought about it a bit and like, how can we implement it in like the least destructive way, see how it all works, it was actually really straightforward. So let's open them up again. So see now this one's broken because it's actually called something else, which is fine. That's broken there. So F spawn units. Where's the enemy type? F spawn. Oh wait, we can just change this. So F spawn F spawn. Disconnect that. Promote that to a variable. Delete that. Delete that. Nope, whoops. Delete that. Delete that. That's the path to follow. And this is going to be enemies to spawn. And why? Oh no, that's just like that. So enemies to spawn. And this will be enemies to spawn. Delete. Yes. Enemies to spawn. You can actually add spaces because we're in Visual Studio, not Visual Studio. So that sets that, and then we should be broken somewhere here. So we get the enemies to spawn. Get is valid. Get is valid index is there, so we can delete you, put you in there, put that in there. Then we can take this like this, and we can say get a reference to it, at a copy. We can break. And we can set that to that, that to that. We can delete that and delete that. That goes there. That goes there, and that goes there. Compile that, save that. That is a warning. So can't pass properties. Does this? Oh, this is used. Find references by name. No, so let's delete all of this. Oops. Ooh, there's this thing which I forgot about. So, get, break. Let's go with length. That, delete, whoops, delete the wrong thing. It's that. So we need to fix that one next. That's all fine. So this needs to take... So break. So that's the enemy type. So this needs to take a different one. Respawn enemies of a type. You can use a right click and use find reference your own type. It do be like that a lot of the time. I can't find the old references. Where is the find references? Hold on. Event graph. I do wish the event graph would stay there. Do we have... I suppose now that I've deleted it, I kind of can't, which is fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect that. That should fix that error there. Then I want this to actually take... What is this? This is a... Can I copy the property? Nope. I can do this though and go... You can't copy it. What is the type that we've got it listed at? Just break with a loop. And the type is spawn units struct. So if I change you to spawn units, is that the one? So enemy type is equal to that. So we're gonna let's just see. Enemy. Oh, come on. Enemy type. Get. Then we can go like this and go for each loop. Break. Then that should do that. That should go like that. That should go like that. That should break all of that. You should be there. You should be there. That's that sorted. Compile and save. We need to actually connect it. And I guess now we just need to make sure that does this compile? It does. Let's add the data back. Oh, it actually manages to keep it. I'm actually surprised. Nope, it just defaulted everything. Never mind. So this is now going to be... Let's actually think about this. Okay, so what would the first wave of an enemy, what would a first wave be? So first wave would be a relatively easy enemy and not too many of them. So let's say enemy A, 500. I would say 10, maybe. Let's do 10, but let's space it out. So spawn interval is 2 seconds, for example. Then I did the wrong one. So spawn interval 2 seconds. So let's say enemy B. Now enemy B is a different type of enemy. So let's say enemy B, we spawn 20. Now they're going to spawn quite quickly, but instead of the 500 HP, now they're going to be 200 HP. So they're a bit quicker. Enemy C is a different type. So let's say enemy C is maybe not the traditional way I do it. Let's just introduce a new type, which is how we wouldn't do it. So let's say these guys are now tanky. So 2000 HP. Actually, it's quite the drastic increase. Let's make it 800. We're going to only have 5 spawn. And we're going to give the player quite a lot of time. So let's make it 2 seconds. Then the fourth wave, let's introduce enemy D. Now enemy D is going to be a big boy, so he's going to be 2000. There's only going to be 3 of them. And there's going to be a 5-second spawn time between each one. So you the towers can properly like focus on killing this specific enemy. Then for the last wave, we'll just do a mix. And we'll do 1, 2, so there's already 4, so we can delete that one. So do enemy A, and we'll do 500 HP, 200 HP, and we're just going to do 5 waves. We'll make them a bit smaller, 500, 1, 2, 3, so 500, I don't know, actually, you know what, let's just make it easy. So we'll go 500, 200, 700, and I actually want to have a different color, so we'll have 1,000, let's try 1,000 in the last wave. 1,000, and that should be D, this should be C, and this should be B. So let's see if this actually works. So start, let's just place a bunch of towers down. So they are spawning, which is good. They are getting kind of far, so let's just add a bunch of gun towers. And let's upgrade all of them. So these are the quick and easy guys. Last one. I'm still so happy that my oscilloscope mod worked. Yeah, that was a pretty cool thing to see. Next wave, bit more space between them and a lot more HP. Actually, isn't this supposed to be like a huge amount? No, the next wave is there's going to be a huge amount of space. Bum, 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 bum. They're clapping. My clapping towers. Okay, this wave there should be large HP 1,000 and about 5 seconds I think spawn difference between them. So this is 2,000. It's a large spawn time. So chunky boys. Could actually probably have gone with even more time, but that's, now we can see, super easy to tweak. Meow. I think one of the next things we need to get working is the arc on these. Bam. I mean, IG, I just rolled the dice and won. There's a 32% chance that I'd have gotten the right board with the components on it. So luckily all I needed was a firmware update. Oh, and someone modded it and made it run Doom so I can get Doom to run on my scope. Nice. Do you think it would be easy to scale the enemy's size based on HP? With how I have it set up now, yes, it would be very easy. Because I've set this whole struct up here where basically this is the enemy we're spawning, this is the data about it, so the enemy type, and the health, it would be very easy to be able to change this, the scale of the enemy. I'm not going to do anything like that now, just because these aren't even the final enemies I'm going to have. It just gives me the flexibility of being able to do a lot with them. Those guns kind of sound like a lot of people clapping. You know, Crimson, you're not even the first person to say that today, which really makes me believe that the sound is completely wrong. It was supposed to be a gun firing. I think the gun doesn't sound, it's just not enough. Normalize the scale multiplied by max health. Hexa, considering that my enemy's health goes from 1,000, no, it goes from 100 up to essentially 100,000. That's kind of hysterical. Actually, so let's do this. Let's add one more wave. We're gonna call it wave 6, and I'll show you. So wave 6, we're gonna spawn one enemy. Spawn one enemy of one type, which is going to be, let's say, D, and we're gonna make it 20,000 HP, because then you can see the purple one. So this is the final wave for this one. So you see now we'll get the full mix. We should get a blue one. So the blue one means that it's 1,000. So what it means is green means that each segment is 100 HP. Blue means that each segment is 1,000 HP. And purple means that each segment is no, blue means it's 10,000. Those scales of magnitude are a lot. So let's restart. So let's set up so we can do this kind of quickly. So let's go add a bunch of Arcanium. Let's add a bunch of upgrade points. And let's put down some gun towers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's upgrade them. So upgrade all our towers to max. I still need to actually go through and configure all the upgrades, but I've got all the data stuff is basically there. I just need to give them values and configure them, and they're ready to go. But all of this is implemented like okay. I know the crit is implemented, I know the damage increase is implemented, and I know the crit chance is implemented. So those three at least I know work. I don't think I've actually done it for the arc system. I may have. I can't remember. So there's 4 towers. Let's add 4 sets of lasers, because lasers are really good at getting damage. Let's add some electrics, because they don't do much, but they're helpful. I'm not adding those ones because they're a bit bugged as I haven't fixed it. Apparently we can actually upgrade these. Not that I think it does anything. I suppose what I can do is just upgrade the base value. Apparently I have a crit chance. So nothing should really get past us. I'm interested to see if this will, I would do at the end. Laser percent increased damage, ramp speed doesn't do anything. So if it says 0, 0, it means I haven't configured its data yet, which is, it's fine. What I want to do is I want to get all the properties for the gun tower configured and added, all the ones that I want to have, and get all of those working. Then I'll move on to the cannon tower, because those are the 2 that are going to be available in the demo. And then I'll slowly just move through the rest and start getting all the data values to work. Once I've got all the data values working, so the upgrade values like crit damage, all of that, I've got a property that shows, I've got something that shows it, a board. Once that's all working, I can then go through and start fine-tuning what the values should be. My scope can output a 25 megahertz sine wave, which I think is insane. That is quite insane. So if we go to, not that one, this is the full upgrade panel that exists for my tower. So what they have, the gun tower has damage, it doesn't have range, it doesn't have attack speed, but it's got crit and critical amount. So I have 5. I don't have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not 6, that's 7. Electric will have 6. Missile will have 7. And then the laser tower will have 1, 4. I just need to decide how I'm actually going to do the rest of the upgrade system, because I haven't actually spent enough time figuring out how the player's going to get these upgrade points, because that's not in yet. But anyway, let's find out, can we survive the super powerful wave? So we know we're going to be able to survive the first 2, so we'll just put it on 8 times and just walk through all of it. So wave 2, 3 done, 4 got a bit further. So there's 5. Yeah, they're not struggling at all. And here's the guy, 20,000 HP. So that's what 20,000 HP looks like. So he's a purple guy. So the idea is the purple guy has to... I might have to increase the base damage of all my towers so that we can actually get up to purple, because I do think it looks cool. Actually, don't think we'll kill this guy. So let's make another set of upgrades over here to deal with them. Where is he? He's over there. So 1, 2, that one still needs upgrading. That one needs upgrading. That one needs upgrading. So let's add more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And upgrade all of those. So I turn on the display, you can see how much damage they're doing. So they need to get to... They're not even halfway through his health. There's no ways. No ways. How much damage they do. Yeah, we're not gonna win. We're not gonna win. He just lies on the floor. He doesn't even attack. Oh, that's so funny. I didn't set a attack thing for him, so he just lies flat on the floor. Oh, that's so good. I love the thought process of ramping up all the towers to more easily reach breakpoints. You decide on the color instead of changing the breakpoints. Yeah, basically. Because I liked the visual aspect of being able to easily identify the enemy's health without essentially having to like click on and see how much HP it has. So obviously having the dashed lines is a good indication, and if you kind of can sort of figure out that means 1,000 health, like I'll probably have a system where you can click on an enemy to see how much health it has. That'll be very easy to do. We've basically got, it's the same thing that we use for the towers, we just have one for the enemies. What I will do is, when I decide what the enemies want to look like and what their special abilities will be. So for example, most enemies will be grunts, which are basically cannon fodder. We'll have a few that are things like fast enemies. We'll have some special ability enemies and some really tanky enemies. And I'll see how much detail I want to display on the info page, but I know like one of the games that I played, Defense Grid 2, that had a nice way of displaying like the stats of the enemy, how much health the enemies had, and that kind of stuff. Because it would be, I would ideally like to have a way that, because there's sort of two ways in controlling how much damage the player can do. One is how much resources they get, and two, how much sort of upgrade spots they get. So for example, if we go and we press play, you see that my current actual first level that the player can actually use is this one, where build space is very limited actually. So trying to balance between how much build space they have and how much resources they have for upgrading, because you want them to be able to have a sort of an amount that they can build, but also an amount where they need to then rather focus on upgrading the tower. So you need to make the tower upgrades actually useful. Are you planning on doing anything with armor damage types? Well, peace out. Bye, Hexic. So armor damage types, probably not. I don't want to move into that realm. So I think when you start moving there, then you really should start considering maybe using gas, the gameplay ability system in Unreal Engine, to handle some of that for you. So for the current plan is no, none of that kind of stuff. I also think that at the minimum camera height, which is this, you should not collide with any collision on any of these things. So I need to actually cut this down. It's a bit too tall, which we can do quite easily. And I need to fix all of that. This starter map is currently the first map. I'm still unsure of its design. It's one of the things I want to get play tested is what do people feel of this map. I've set up damage types and resistances for my framework without gas. I know you can do it without gas. I know a lot of people mention that's kind of the point where you want to start maybe considering it. I'd rather not, to be completely honest, touch gas. Also, you find a nice place for where do you want the player to start viewing like the map. Like when you spawn in, what do you see? Because when I play, I'm always sort of, I always start here. So I wonder if this might be the good place, because then you immediately have all the space. You have the transition, you have the spawn point, and you have the path. The other option is out here. Why I would say out here is you've got the data cube, so you can see the thing that you're defending. You can see the properties. I think at the moment we start here. So then maybe out here somewhere. But that's minor stuff that's easy to change and set up. Can your start camera at the spawn and then spawn in a real cinematic to the protect thing? That could be a good idea, actually. Yeah, we could do that. So when we spawn in, we could have a camera transition that happens. So where it, I don't know, let's say the camera starts and it spawns, let's say here, and then it actually like transitions out. I would say like there, transitions out to sort of show you this as your path, and then like connects here to the actual camera that you see. Something like that. We could do something like that. Could be a cool effect, actually. It's a nice idea. I like it. But those are the, I feel like those are the bit of polished things that we can sort of do at the end. As it stands right now, it's more get all the systems working. I'm very happy that I got the health system in place, because I feel like I can do a lot of the later waves then, and I've got more flexibility in how I model the wave. It's almost like a science in figuring out the difficulty of a wave. So the way that I'm wanting to approach, like how do you figure out the sort of difficulty of a wave, is you've got sort of three things you can adjust. Is the number of towers that you can place, which directly is influenced by the economy that we have, and the health of the enemies. And then with the health, you can put more pressure on the player by reducing the spawn time between the enemies, so the towers have got less things. So you can have enemies with less HP stacked closer together, means that you've got to essentially do more damage per second. I thought one of the things that I would end up doing is actually calculate the total DPS required to defeat a particular wave as a sort of gauge for how difficult a wave is and if it needs adjustment. Because remember that if I have, let's say, the electric tower, so let's jump back in, and that's not, oh, it's F8. So I place a gun, let's say the gun tower down, right? So here's a gun tower, we place it down, we click on it. At the moment it does 5 damage as base. If I up that to 7, remember that now affects every single level. So for difficult waves, if I'm wanting to hit those high numbers, I almost need the towers to start off by doing more damage, or be able to start with just a huge amount of upgrade points. Maybe at like wave, let's say there's 12 levels, maybe at like wave 12, the gun tower is automatically starts with all its upgrades at like level 2 or level 3. That could actually be another way of balancing it, actually. So when you actually spawn it in, it's already at that amount. That actually would not be very difficult to implement. That'd be very easy to implement at the moment. Could be a nice way of doing it. So we could even do it where you get to a point where you just spawn at max, spawn towers that are just max upgraded. I think there's a lot we can do with it, which is exciting. Anyway, let's get that saved. Why? Oh, I pressed. Which button did I press? Why did that call you? Real's very unhappy with that. Arm, hello, how are you doing? Oh, thank you for the postage. It's not like I was slouching. I'm well, busy and dev. Good, good, good. Glad to hear it. How is the dev going? Is the dev going well? Let's update that. That looks good. So that's all working. So let's check. Does it still work? Because we did change some stuff. Save. Yeah, cool. Converting my current system to gas. Ah, lol, we were just talking about gas. How's that going? Is it going well? Let's commit our code. So that changed. So enemy thing, we don't want to commit the chrome material. We don't want to commit those two. We updated the static map test. I don't believe so. That we definitely updated. That we updated. That we updated, and that we updated the sound. So get enemies. Enemies can now spawn with different HP. The other thing we can do is the system does allow us to be able to spawn the same enemy but with different HP. We just then have to manually spawn 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, but we could do that, which is exciting. It's going well, but time consuming. Yeah, I have heard that. Hopefully, it's all worth it in the end. I'm sure it will be. But yeah, hopefully it is all worth it. Let's see. So that works. Commit, push. What was the next thing that I wanted to do? So I had a whole list of things that needed to get done. Please make everything look nice. So that we've done. Add modifier house to enemies. That we've done, which we did today. Next wave text technically. I think we need to show something that actually. Maybe let's work on that. So when a wave finishes and the next wave starts, let's maybe have some text that shows up and says, "Yo, next wave." So let's start with the player HUD, because I don't know where else to do this. What is it called? Is it not called player HUD? Widget BP HUD. So let's do, these are all blueprints. Do we have access to the next wave? On wave end, on level lose, on wave update, on level start. What happens on wave update? On wave update, we update the wave number, so this could be a good place to do it. So let's try this. Go back to the designer. We're gonna add some text. Text. Let's add the text like that. Let's reset it to the center. That. Oh, that's the one I want. So I want to make you center. 0.5, 0.5, save. Let's move your, nope, the start X is 0. 0. Are you not 0.5 aligned? Then Y. Oh, that's size. Reset that. I don't know, 100 by 100. Then Y position. I mean, not just size to content. There we go. That's so much better. And let's say that this is minus 350, like that. Visible. That's not how you spell visible, and that's not what you type visible. Visible, virusable, okay, because... So, let's go hidden. Hidden. Pile, save. Next wave text. This is just going to say next wave. Like that. Save, compile. Let's go to the graph. Event graph. How do you animate something in... You can animate. Add a keyframe for this. Oh, there's the animations. So let's make this animations locked to the viewport. Add an animation and let's call it show. Compile and save. And let's say that we... What are we going to do? So we're going to set size. We have a scale. So let's go with 1. Let's set that in the keyframe. So transform scale 0, 0. Let's move it up 1. Add a keyframe. So it's both 0, 0. So now the keyframe 1 and 1. So that should now scale up. Next wave. We'll show it for a second. And then we will go back to 0, 0 again. 0 and 0. Compile, save. So it'll look like this. Bam, next wave. And gone. I think that'll look nice. So, fantastic. Then we go back to the graph. And on... We'll start wave update. Let's make this a variable. Is a variable, so get the variable next wave text underscore next wave. Save it, pile and save. Then go back to here, update wave. So now we can call, I have no idea how to do this. So we go this get. What is under animation? Animation data. We just call play and play. I have no idea how this works. Go. Maybe we just call show. Nope. Duplicate reference. Let's make this 60 FPS. Save. Now, how does one call an animation on the thing? I mean, it'll be super straightforward. Let's Google it. Unreal Engine UMG show tags. So, Unreal Engine UMG play animation. To play an animation in Unreal Engine, you can use the play animation node in the widget blueprint graph editor. Play animation. Target this. Not how it works. Do not just go play animation. Animating widget. Actually, wait, someone literally said, how do you actually play animation? Good point. How do you do it? That is my answer. I made an animation which changes the alpha value of an image, but I don't seem to get a star. Hope this helps. Where is this? Hope this helps. Do this in the UMG event graph. Event construct play animation. Put this in the level blueprint. Remove from widget. Why do we use a timer? I have many questions, Unreal. Many questions. So left mouse is pressed. We created. Is the animation set as a var? How do you set the animation as a variable? I've never actually used an animation on a widget before, so I have no idea what you meant to do. So I've created the animation like this. The text is a anim. Oh, the text is a variable. I just don't know how you make... Is this specific to this? Oh, this isn't actually specific to the thing. It's trying to show. So, do I just call show? Show. Oh, get show. And then play animation. Target as self. Is it just that? What have I done? I reset that state. Okay, hold on. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. I broke my HUD. What did I reset? Tower upgrade. Where's my tower upgrade button? Tower upgrade group. This should be there. File and save. There we go. Let's check. F9. Does this ever play? So update widget, that's the wave number, play. Start. That actually doesn't update, so maybe it does work, but where does... We are birds! Ah, wave indicator. So what is the wave indicator? How does it update itself? So that's that one. Wave count update. That's what we want.
Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted, can't copy, printed, can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoke it into existence, so consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap when I be spitting this. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
To show animation, self, widget, object reference. So let's check. Tower widget info. That's a full widget, not the text. So let's just do a test. If I go and I click show animation, and I go and make this just scale for whatever reason. So there, it's 0. Here it's 1. Oh wait, offset. There we go. So there we go like that. Then we go like that, and we change that to 100. What does that do? Then what we do is we pump in. Is it still hidden? Oh, you know what? That's actually a good shot. I never considered actually making it not hidden. That's actually kind of hysterical. Thanks, Arm. That's so funny. I would have spent like hours sitting here going, why can't I see it? Visible. It works! Lol, that's so funny. Okay, so we can delete that. We can make this second long. Why can't I not? Oh, I have to click this. Make it 1.5 seconds long. There we go. 1.5 seconds long. That means that this can be Control Z. Whoops. Put that there. We'll select that and push it to there. That can be moved to there as well. Then this can take up the full length. That could be 1 second. That can be moved to the 1 second. Oops. That can be moved to the end. That can be moved to the end. That can be moved to the 1 second. I not manually change this one. That's what I want. I want this to be at 1. There we go. Way too complicated, Unreal. So compile that, save that. Let's see. I don't think it works all the time, so let's go next wave. So press start. Okay, start. Close all that. So then that guy should die. Bam. Next wave. So that works. And 1. Next wave. Fantastic. So that works. The only thing is I need it to not spawn on wave 1. So we'll go back to this and we'll do equal 0 branch. False. Actually, let's do not equal. Not equal. Then we can just do, take that off. Put that in. That goes there. That goes there. That can go there. And now what should happen is, on the first wave we don't see it because why would we see it on the first wave? So let's do play from here. So you press start, nothing happens. Fantastic. I need to make that text a bit more actually show something. So we'll just go like multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, thing. He dies. Fantastic. We wait, and then next wave spawns thing. Do you ever cache the wave count? Why would I cache the wave count? What would I sort of... Why do you think I need to cache the wave count? I do have it set somewhere, so I can always retrieve it. It's set in the game instance somewhere. Next wave. So now this guy spawns. Let's actually add all the towers. We'll just add all the towers. Like that. Let's make it 1 time so I can finish adding towers. Let's see if the boss can get through this. Ah, so now the issue is we update. I need it to not show then. I should actually do it on wave start. Okay, that's every single possible power space that we've done. You guys are hitting... You should not be hitting those. I'm just gonna sell that. Stop attacking those. So next wave. So this is the most powerful that we have. I actually think he'll die. Let's cheat and add a whole bunch of upgrade points. Wait, how did that reset? Oh, because I'm clicking through. Da, da, da. He's actually going to get through. Maybe not. He's taking a lot of damage. They're close. They're very close. We got him. That was a lot of damage. At instances where you might have multiple waves happen back to back, it might break it somehow. So it shouldn't break just because the wave time should be long enough. There's like a delay that happens between waves. So it could happen if the wave is very short, but the idea is if the spawn point is far enough from the tower that even at 8 times, the enemy will never be able to get there with the wave spawning. It should be fine. What I want to do is I want to see if in my game instance, do I have an on wave spawn function instance? So game, so TD, or is it TD game instance? TD game is not instance, game subsystem. TD game mode subsystem, that one. Do I have an on, so spawn, on enemy spawn, wave, update, detect for notifying when notifying what wave we are currently on. Is there a wave start? Yeah, on wave start. Wouldn't that be a better one to use? So HUD. So it's BP. It's which BP HUD, isn't it? That one. So inside of here, if we go to this and we go and we check bind event into on wave start, this should be the one that I want. Instead, if I've set this up correctly, this should be the one that I want. Does it have the same signature? No, it doesn't. Wave start. What did I have? What was the other one that I just had? Is it on wave update? Dun, dun, dun. It doesn't work. Dun, dun, dun. Is it because this never gets called? On wave start. Play, start. Actually should have been called, shouldn't it? No, yeah. You're angry because you're just angry. Fine. Manager. Enemy manager. When do we call the start spawn? So that's event tick, enemy build. This is the starting point, so start wave. So find a reference to you. So start wave is called when on wave starts is called. Did you get the UI animation working? I did. It helps to unhide the UI that you're hiding. It's a pro tip that I can give now. I actually haven't worked with UI animation before, so it's the one more thing that I know how to do now. Very basic how to do, but you know, it's a thing. So that one gets called, but why does this one get not called? On wave start. Find event to on wave start. So show text. So why do you not get called? Start. Suspicious. Where am I binding these? Maybe that's the problem. Oh, an event construct. Do we not have a begin play? Play. Oh, that would be why. Where's the count? The count is 0, 9, play, 9, play. So that does that. Do like 8 times and just delete them. There, and now display, display. Do it, do it. Oh, hate you. Maybe the order's wrong. You've never done it either. Well, now we both know. When is this called? When is this called? Must be the problem. So update wave is set to 0. Continue. We do this. And we add all our towers and we press start. Now we click show thing, which is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we do current wave count is equal to 0. And that does, that's 1. So that's 1. Boom, hello. So da, da, da. Hi, I'm New. Welcome to the stream, Boo. And also, hi, New. I'm Siler. How are you doing today? How was your stream? Hi, New. I'm Dad. Hi, I'm New here. Oh, gotta love a good dad joke. That's the next wave. There's a function that says is spawning is false. Find reference. Yeah. We set it there. We get it there. We get it there. And call end of wave. Fantastic. That's not what I want. What's your widget doing? So my widget is supposed to display this magical text. This magical text when the next wave starts. Like, I know, it's just... Look at that smooth 60 FPS animation. Just... So elegant. But it turns out that I did not do my delegate system. Well, I did my delegate system correctly. And I didn't actually call the correct state from inside here. There's like one thing that I need to call somewhere in this spaghetti mess that says, hey, I'm starting to spawn. Wow, is this smooth. It's 11 PM. Do you know what widget is doing? I know nothing. Configure data spawn enemies. So we do event tick, that's that, no one cares about that. We build the pool. Is spawning, does that. There is one place that I need to call this. Where is it? I will find you. Create event. Spawn enemy. Spawn interval. So we call spawn enemy, which does that. Handle next enemy spawn. Lose, handle next enemy spawn. So we go and we check. Call level win. So if that's the end of that. call on wave count update. So that's when we call the wave count update. And then we do, is it a build? So we call build. So that's build phase start. That's wave start. So if it's a wave start, we call on wave start. There's the one that we need. If that one works, I will be happy. Then on wave start. Let's see if that works. Play. F9. Continue. So start. Start. So we go like this. We add all of these. And we see if it works. So it should work on the next wave. So we go max speed. Pew, 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 pew. And it says it's going to do it. Is this one? It isn't. So we go next. So it should just... Hooray! It works! It works! It's magic! I have no idea how it works. It's just magic. I don't know why all my enemies are broken. Look at the magic. Next wave. Next wave. Oh no. That's fine. It's fine. I got this. I got this. Next wave. Actually still works then. Well. Next wave. Oh yeah, we're not going to kill that guy. Fantastic. It worked. Okay, that's another thing done. It was a productive stream. Display next wave when I'm just going to call it display next wave because it kind of explains itself that that you expect next wave to be displayed when the next wave starts. Otherwise the commit message is going to be displays next wave when the next wave starts. It seems a bit too, you know, verbose for a comment. Commit. Commit. With animations. I forgot the animations. You're right, Arm. You're right. I should have added with animations. I worked so hard on that animation as well. Anyway, I need to go and make some dinner. I'm starving. Hi, starving. I'm Dad. Who shall we raid today? There's Jotson. There's just combo. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? That's Ray Jotson. I know I've been there with Stevie before. Boom has new colors. Paint misty morning. That's so cool. I like that. Such Ray Jotson. There is your raid message, or use whatever you want. Thank you all for keeping me company. Thank you. Bye. Thank you all. I will see you next week, hopefully Saturday, if I don't have any more viewings to attend. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week, and we will catch you soon. Have a good week. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye.
I look at people and I wonder all day, who are you